I'm the first African American from San Antonio to earn an undergraduate degree at UT Austin. So we understood that we needed to integrate that place. My father told me, he said, I would really love to send you to Howard, but I can't afford it. And I said, well, where do white folks go to school? He says, well, they go right up the road to UT Austin. So I said, that's where I want to go. He said, but it ain't open to you quite yet. So I said, okay, what do we do until, the Brown decision on the undergraduate level was available. When it was time for me to do my observation in student teaching, they were going to send me over to Cassis Elementary School, which is in this affluent neighborhood in Austin. Well, I showed up and shocked everybody because they didn't know I was over on that campus. They had some elected officials in the Texas government who had kids going to that school and other important people, and they did not want me there. So he explained that because if they fought for me, it probably would hurt the integration of the school. And they were hoping that I wanted that larger group of students in Austin to benefit from education and not just me. And I said, no, I would never want to hinder what had been going. So there was this school, just up the street around the corner from where I was staying.
Okay.
In the beautician's front bedroom. So I could walk up there to student teaching. It worked out beautifully, which is how I know that God is good. I graduated midterm 1960.
Tell me about your experiences in segregated Texas. And
I'll tell you,
okay.
Right now on I listen to 2 radio stations.
Mm-hmm.
National Public Radio, because I want to hear international news because of my years in international affairs. And then the other station that I listen to every day is a red-wing conservative station, because I want to hear what they're having to say. The reason I mentioned the radio station, the right-wing conservative one, is that there's a commercial on there right now. During this commercial, this young lady is talking about how when she was a child, they would do field trips to the Buttercrust Bakery that was right across the street from Playland Park.
Zimbabwe.
And she loved to ride the roller coaster, although she would get this feeling in her stomach every time that roller coaster dropped. Well, understand, Playland Park was available to me only on Juneteenth.
That's the only day?
The only day in the year that colored people, because we were still colored, we weren't black by this time, the only time colored people could go to Playland Park. I wanted to ride the roller coaster too. And you rode at the back of the bus. And of course, because of that, I'm fighting for the Woolworth building.
Well, it's going to lead into the Woolworth.
Yeah.
So tell me about your...
Well, because all of the lunch counters there in downtown San Antonio, there were 7. But the 2 that really were the most significant for people of color were Cress's. I know it's the Cress building,
yes,
but we called it Cress's.
Yes, ma'am.
And Woolworth. Woolworth in particular, because it's right on the corner of Houston and Alamo Plaza.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where you caught the Exposition bus to go to the east side.
Okay.
So that was kind of a congregation spot.
Okay.
And so you couldn't eat. So they would let you come in and buy a donut.
Okay.
And go outside and eat it. And we did, because they were so good. And you'd wind up with sugar all over your face. Lord love a duck. Yeah, that can all things off. And then you got on your bus, sat in the back, and you ate your donut. San Antonio as a community is quite different, probably from any other city in San Antonio and maybe in this country. And it's because, although people want to forget about it, we began as a country of Native Americans, Mexican Americans, and people from Africa. It took a while for Anglos to come here and try to steal land from people who had settled it for years and years and years and years. And so our culture developed as a result of who we truly are and how long we have been here. So we tried to accommodate ourselves to what Anglo rule imposed upon us in terms of the law. But we developed our communities knowing who we are and whose we are. So we were never lacking in amenities that the community could give you, meaning we were well educated. In my case, the Margaret Mary Healy Murphy went to Ireland to found a group of nuns because she couldn't find anybody in this area post-emancipation that wanted to treat the kids of emancipated slaves. So Margaret Mary Healy Murphy went to Ireland, brought them back, and started, St. Peter Claver Academy. Okay. So, and the nuns were entirely into music and art and that sort of thing. So you learned that early on. I mean, I played piano, I played violin, I played cello. So we had culture, black culture, we had music, we had speakers, we had educated people who came back to share their knowledge with us. We were missing absolutely nothing except being first-class American citizens and being allowed to vote. But finally, when we did get the right to vote, my father took me by the hand when I was 18 years old, and I was at UT. Because, see, I entered UT at 16, so I was still at UT. And he took me by the hand, took me up to the funeral home and bought my poll tax and told me, you will vote every year for the rest of your life. And I said, yes, Papa. You only have to go to Dr. King to realize. And I am so happy that the Lord put me in Washington on the street and able to walk with him to the Lincoln Memorial and to hear him do his I Had a Dream speech. That was my first year in Washington. The same difficulties that people of color have faced all of these years are still here. They just have different names, they have different kinds of contexts, but the primary context is the same, and that is to make certain that we, meaning people of color, are not the people who are making the decisions that determine how the city, how the state, the county, the country is going. And it's not that they think it's going to be going in a bad way. They just don't think it's not their way. Because surely they can't, looking at somebody like Barack Obama and the people of black influence in this country right now, that everybody's dumb and therefore shouldn't be given a vote or influence. Clearly, we are people of consequence. I guess people can't get past color.
What would you hope a Juneteenth looks like, say, 10 years from now?
I hope that we're still celebrating Juneteenth. I'm also hoping that 10 years from now, it will be declared a national holiday.
Is there anything else you'd like people to know about you?
Speak up, stand up, and when necessary, shout it out so that the word gets out to people.